Welcome back to another very long overdue episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy Bass the Kid. Now, for everyone who knows why it's been so long since I've released a video, I thank you for any well wishes you may have sent here, Instagram or anywhere else. For those of you who don't know, it's okay, like it's not that important to you, but again, I apologize for being away for so long, but I don't envisage any more breaks in my immediate future, not until I go on holiday, which likely isn't going to be until 2024 at this point. So yeah, the content is going to continue. It's going to be frequent. We're going to get back into the regular swing of things. I was going to talk about some of the stuff that happened last week and kind of give my takes on a few bits and pieces, but as quite a bit of that has now kind of been defunct, I guess is the right way to say it, I might as well just talk about kind of what's happening this week. So without further ado, let's get into it, and yeah, let's see what we got to talk about. So on Monday, I think it was Monday, Demetrius Andrade put out a very sauced up video basically calling out ChrisEubankJr, saying, like, why are you trying to fight people that, insignificant, like, I'm a superstar, you're a star, let's fight WBO super title at 160. Now, he must have been drunk in this video, because ultimately he's already in a mandated situation against Yanibek Alimkhanuly, and he can't get out of that. There's no exemption to be had in this situation unless it was for unification, and even at that point the mandatory's been called now. So unless Yanibek decided to step aside, there is no bypassing this mandate. So I don't know where the video came from. I guess obviously he might be looking for another options to say, well, if I can get a bigger fight, I'll drop the belt and fight someone with a bigger name, maybe come back around to it later on or something like that. But ultimately, I don't think he's going to drop the belt, because that's pretty much the only leverage he's got left in the game right now. If he doesn't have that, he doesn't have anything, because there's nothing else that entices anyone else to fight him at this point. So yeah, realistically, like, get off the drink, get back in the gym. If the shoulder's healed or whatever we was claiming was wrong with you before, then get to work and get to beating up Alimkhanuly, because that's the only option you have at this point in time. Now, last week the IBF put out several mandates for some of their champions to face their contenders, or for people to have final eliminators. Two of the more notable ones for myself was Ebony Bridges was mandated that she must fight Shotgun Shannon O'Connell next by, I believe they said, September the 26th. Now, from the report I heard, it said if the fight's not done by September 26th, then the belt goes vacant. But I don't know if that means if it's not signed and a date is in place, or the fight has to take place by that date. But it coincides quite nicely with a previous Q&A that Ebony Bridges did with Julius of Ring IQ, where obviously she was saying, Shannon O'Connell and all the other ones from sort of, Australia, New Zealand and that region, calling out her name, but none of them bring anything to the table, so nothing will be done until she's ready for it to be done, kind of thing. All she wants to do is become undisputed. Well, Shannon O'Connell is definitely going to have something to say about that, and that fight is an extremely dangerous fight for Ebony Bridges. And to be totally honest, me personally, I would actually favor Shannon O'Connell in that fight. The only pause that I do have is if the two of them get on the inside, Ebony may just have a bit more power, and she's definitely been working on her inside game and tightening up her hooks. If she hits her with one of the uppercuts that she's been working on, there is a chance that O'Connell could go to sleep. But generally speaking, her having the longer frame, being the ranger of the two, I mean, realistically, even though her sweet spot is like mid-range to inside, you can keep that mid-range to long distance if you really want, and just make it an easy night's work. But I know Shotgun is not really of that ilk, so we'll have to see. But both ladies can bang. We've seen Ebony get hurt before by Shannon Courtney, who's not as big a puncher as Shannon O'Connell. But we've also seen Shannon O'Connell get knocked out on a couple of occasions, although the last time was about 6 years ago, so 5-6 years ago. So maybe we're reading a bit too much into that, but that would be interesting. Also, the IBF put out a final eliminator for Joshua Buatsi to face Jean Pascal, and as of I believe today or yesterday now, both teams, Pascal's team and Buatsi's team, have accepted that. To me, I think that's a great fight for Buatsi. The Bivol fight was a step too far at this point, because he's not been in the ring with anyone on that kind of level yet to have the necessary experience to take a fight like that. But Pascal has been inactive for over 2 years. He was inactive for about 2.5 years until I think about 2 months ago, when he fought Meng Fang Long and actually upset him and beat him, who was an unbeaten prospect. He was supposed to be the next up-and-comer for the light heavyweight IBF title. So with that being said, he's definitely a dangerous and still a game opponent for someone like Buatsi, especially someone like Buatsi who likes to be a sharpshooter and pick his moments to take his shots. Jean Pascal will swarm him. He will make him have to fight for every minute of every round, and if Buatsi's stamina and gas tank are not up to par, he will be in big trouble in this fight. That being said, they've both got punching power. They both have heart, and I believe that they both probably can take a decent punch, although I think Pascal takes a slightly better punch than Buatsi does. That being said, Buatsi's never been off his feet, and Pascal has been knocked out twice, even though that was to Sergey Kovalev on both occasions. But yeah, it's a definitely the right type of step up fight for Buatsi before any potential title shots are had, and I am looking forward to those negotiations on when that potential fight does happen. But yeah, definitely a thumbs up from me. Okay, so there was a lot of rumors going around that Chris Eubank Jr. and ChrisEubankJr had agreed a fight supposedly for October at a catch weight of 156 pounds, and there was a stumbling block of a potential rehydration clause. Well, not too long ago today, Eddie Hearn did a big hour sit down, or catch up I should say, with Kugan Cassius for IFL TV, whereby he said that while it is true that him and Kayla Sauerland have been kind of speaking about a potential fight, nothing has been agreed, no paperwork's been signed, there's been nothing formal outside of just talks. He said everything that's come from people like Gareth A. Davis and whoever else is fake news. There's nothing to report at this point. They're not even in a drafting stage at the moment, but it is something that he is looking at. But ultimately, ChrisEubank's next fight date is going to be the 8th of October. So whether that is Chris Eubank Jr. or potentially someone else, he will be fighting on that date. So with that, there's no point me speculating about the rehydration clause that was a potential issue and all that stuff, which is something I was actually going to talk about prior to seeing that interview. But I reckon until now things get sort of a bit more finalized, there's no point talking about it. So I'm going to leave that one there. But if the fight does happen, I will definitely be in attendance. I don't care. I think it's going to be at the O2, he says, next fight, so I will definitely be in attendance. If Conor's fighting anyone else, I mean, depending on who he's fighting, I'll probably still go. But yeah, if it is Eubank, then yeah, count me in. As much as I think Eubank needs to, you know, find someone his own size to start fighting, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. And last but not least for today, so last week there was a rumor going around that Sky were pulling out of the Usyk AJ2 you know, negotiations for the fight that they had when apparently they had bid like £35 million for the fight, and there was a potential that there could be no UK broadcaster for the fight. Well, that's now been officially trashed as either fake news or no longer valid, as earlier on today Sky have reported Sky Sports box office will be the home of Usyk versus AJ2 on Saturday the 20th of August. Now, when I first saw the announcement, the first thing I noticed is it was on Sky Sports News, and it was like a breaking news segment, and literally the entire video that they played in the background of this particular segment was Usyk punching the lights out of AJ. They showed pretty much they showed stuff from, what was it, round 4? Was it round 4 or round 5, when he slipped AJ's right hand and caught him with the big backhand left to like the base of his neck that just rocked him. Also in round 7, when he hit him with the backhand and AJ stumbled about the place, I think he tripped over Usyk's leg. Then they showed the multiple times, like from different angles in round 12, when AJ was just getting peppered, like the last, you know, sort of the last few seconds of the fight where he was about to be out on his feet. They never showed one bit of success that AJ had in that fight. Now granted, he didn't have a huge amount, but you would have thought, him being the, you know, the UK guy, they might show at least like a little bit of a highlight or even a clinch or something from him. Nope, like it was basically Usyk's best bits, the entire thing. Now quite frankly, obviously everyone knows I'm a big Usyk fan, so I didn't particularly mind seeing it. But I just thought, no, I can already see the narrative. Like I said, I even tweeted it to Sky earlier on. I said, look, the breaking news saga is elite levels of pettiness from Sky, and quite frankly I am here for it. But I can tell that will probably rub some people up the wrong way, and hopefully it will spark something in AJ to make sure that whatever happens in this next fight, like he gives it his best chance and his best effort to win. I'm not going to go into any predictions right now. Most people know how I think the fight's going to go, and most people know how highly I rate Alexander Usyk. But I will save all of that for afterwards. The fight has been confirmed, and it's also been confirmed at a price point of £26.95. Now, that's higher than anything we've had previously. Normally it's been like £24.95, so basically they've increased it by £2. Now, I've got a suspicion that the reason they waited until just over 3 weeks before the fight to happen, to get everyone in a frenzy about, oh, like, where's this fight going to take place? Like, are we going to see it? Why haven't we seen anything about this fight yet? And then just when you think, oh damn, like we're not going to get to see this fight, boom, no, don't you worry, like we've got it. But it's been such a struggle to get it, we've had to up the price a little bit. And I think now, because some people who were so worried about possibly not being able to see it in the first place are just relieved that they actually now do get to see the fight, they're not going to complain as much over the extra £2. I mean, I feel like the further away from the fight that you kind of announced it, would probably draw more ire from some of the crowd and the public about the increase in price. So now, even though you're still going to get that same thing, because it's a lot closer to the fight than it was before, I think they're banking on maybe not as many people you know, making a huge fuss about it because like the fight's upon us. Whereas if they had released this like 6 weeks ago, it probably would have gone down a lot worse and potentially would have cost them even more buys than they may potentially have to lose now. That's just my speculation on it. But ultimately the fight's here, the fight's happening. Sky are definitely sort of throwing their parting shots at AJ at this point. Also, the card was announced today, the full card. So I think the co-main event is going to be Callum Smith versus Matthew Brodalik for the WBC Final Eliminator for the light heavyweight championship that's held by Artur Beterbiev. And also the IBF Eliminator for the heavyweight world championship of the world between Filip Hrgović and Zhilei Zhang will also be on the card. Ramla Ali will be making history, being the first woman to compete on a Saudi card, or I believe in that region, on a big pay-per-view. I don't know if there's been any sort of female fighters in that region previously, but based on how it used to work with the WWE, they used to always have them like fully covered, only their hands showing, and they used to put like these big t-shirts over them as well to, you know, block their figures, so to speak. So I wonder if there's going to be any sort of tailor-made suits for the women to have to wear, or like bodysuits or stuff, so that, you know, they don't have any skin showing. Also, I guess the weigh-in might be interesting on where they are made to weigh in, or how they're made to weigh in. Maybe it's going to be behind closed doors, something. So that will all be interesting. But yeah, you know, that's good news for them. Also, you've got, you know, Badu Jack's gonna be on the card. You've got Andrew Tabiti versus Tyrone Spong, which is also gonna be a pretty weird one. Lapin, who's I think he's the Russian guy. I think Lapin's the Russian guy that Alungu Makabu fought for the title back in 2019 in Russia. I could be totally wrong, I'd have to double check, but he's also on the card. So you can tell that there's quite a few guys from either that Saudi region or people that have been currently fighting in Dubai and those areas at present. So all in all, that should be quite an interesting one as well. But the main bulk of the card, like Callum Smith and Matthew Brodalik and Zhang and Hrgović and, you know, Usyk, AJ, all of that, to me, like, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm quite happy with this card. Won't be able to get involved in any watch-alongs, but, you know, such is life. It happens on occasion. But yeah, overall, at least all of that's been sorted out now, and, you know, crisis and panic mode is over. Alright, so I'm going to leave that one here. Real quick video to kind of get back into the swing of things. Again, as I said, like, there won't be as bigger breaks between them. Now, we've got this one, which should be uploading shortly. I've got something else I'm going to try and get out for Thursday if I get back from a work function I've got in time. And then also basis picks. I might have to do that on Thursday as well before seeing the weigh-ins, just because Friday I'm supposed to be out with some of my godchildren. So we'll see where we go for that. But Saturday will be another video. Sunday will be the weekend wrap. We will be back with that one. And then hopefully from next week, we'll be back to regular scheduled planning. I'm going to have a few other videos sorted out. Also, don't forget to catch me Tuesday. What would that be? The 2nd of August for the breakdown on the Undefeated podcast channel. Myself and Tony will be breaking down this weekend's action, you know, with Isaac Chamberlain and Chris Smith, and also having a look at what's his name, Ben Whittaker in his debut, and everyone else who's going to be on that card. And I think there might be another card across the pond as well. But anyway, all of that's all good. Thanks for watching, and as always, Hardcore Casual out.